Hey there, my man. How are we doing today, Kiki? So we're looking at the Malian versus Lithuanian game here, and right away when we look at this matchup, there's a few things that we need to be really aware of as we make our plan. So one, Lithuanians with that extra food, even at a lower level, they can get up pretty quickly, right? The odds of him having a cleaner Dark Age, like into like 20 pop scouts, let's say, compared to you doing like a 21 or a 22 man at arm is a lot higher. So something to always be aware of is that you need to, if you're not confident in being able to do a clean build order against Lithuanians, you're probably better opening scouts yourself, right? Scouts into spears, and then just play defensive into what you want to play after that, which would probably be ranges. Okay. Going into the late game, it can kind of be a little bit tricky for Malians, but you have good skirmisher. So Farimba heavy camel and skirm is probably the combination you're gonna have to go with here. Um, but of course, Lithuanians have better trash than you. However, Farimba light cav might be able to also do something, but you're not too worried about their paladin threat. Outside of them having the relics, like the bonus attack, as long as you're able to fight paladin on heavy camel, you're gonna do okay, because you do have +7 attack on your camels. So okay. How did I do this? Miss this. Where's this? There we go. So right away, we're just looking at some scouting here. As you can see, you have a pretty okay map. You have forward berries, but it's pretty easy to wall off. You're in the back section here, right? So you have a nice back wood, back gold. So this results in a pretty natural wall here. All right. You can try to be a bit more aggressive with these houses, of course, as you get into it. Maybe over here, right here. Then you kind of want to use this gold with your walling. So your building's over here, and then probably palisade over here. So you can just delete the palisade and put a TC and have access to your gold, if it ever comes to that. Okay, we got our scout moving again. That's good. And we have 4 on wood. Yep. Okay, so we found everything, and now you're scouting out, or are you going for the deer? I think you might be scouting out. So right away, because we are against Lithuanians, we need to confirm that they aren't going for some sort of drush or men-at-arm play, because that's also very easy for a Lithuanian player. So as we scout out, yep, going along the edge like this is perfectly viable. This is probably one of the more common scouting starting areas, and as a result, they can be here, they can be here, they can be here, and sometimes they'll even be here. So I would say don't stray so close to the edge. You kind of want to cut more to the inside as you scout, right? Because like when you go like this, that's when you'll find these forward res. So you'll see that 2 stone. You'll know he isn't in this area, instead of running straight to the corner like that. Because on this trajectory, the odds of running into a TC that may have been here or may have been here are much, much higher. So that's why you kind of cut more to the inside, right? Cut to the inside, then bam, you'll find that stone, cut a little bit more out. Oh, you will find he's going for like a drush play. Right? At least I think so. I don't know. It's pretty hard to tell. This should be a drush play with the timing of the barracks. So yours is just going on now for men-at-arms. It's a little bit too far back. You're going to want to have it, again, in front of your berries over here. And you're going gold a little bit too early. So I would recommend that you kind of look into a men-at-arms build order here. These guys are going to gold a little bit early. You're going to want like another 1 or 2 vills on wood. And yeah. So you ran under the TC here. We managed to survive, so that's always good. But we still haven't been able to get this barracks. So, hopefully we'll be able to see it soon. Okay. Very defensive walls. And, yeah. So you're going back home, but we still didn't scout the important information. We're still playing blind. Our friend here is going for a drush, and we have no idea. You had 32 seconds of idle in idle TC, so that's about a fill and a quarter. So that's just something that as you play more, you'll get more experience with making sure your TC is running. Find out little tips and tricks. And these walls are pretty bad, I won't lie to you. So these walls may have been to counter scouts, but they could still go all the way in the back here. And as a result, if they were to go archers or something, you have lost all control of your map. Right? We're not really worried about... We want to encourage him to run under the TC. So these walls right here, they aren't needed. These are actually kind of bad for us. Because if he runs under the TC and dies, that's great. Also, another mistake is we're keeping our drush at home. With us committing so much to full walling, we're not worried about him doing damage to us, right? So that means that we need to move out and stop him from full walling. Right? So, yeah, this is kind of like the sacrifice you make. Now, we got a really good engagement here, except by this engagement, he's going to have time to be full walled by the time we get over to his side of the map. And we've been forgetting our scout because we're so busy with everything else. So this is a tactical error, I would say, right? If you're investing so many res and villager time into walling like this, these guys need to go forward and do damage. However, you did split your lumber, so this is really good. And now we just need to make sure we're spending our wood here, right? So we're at 400 wood. We need to get that range down. We need to start placing a lot of farms, get our blacksmith down, right? So we can do this archer follow-up. Because right now we're sitting on 500, 450, 460, 470, right? This is a lot of wood that we aren't spending. So we finally laid down a range, but even then, this is actually taking up farm space. So we know he has 2 militia out. We easily could have put this more forward, or more forward, right? We could have like asserted more map control. And our men at armor going so slow. He's only walled the front, so we could probably still get in and do damage, and that's good. But our follow-up needs to be a little bit more precise, and we need a lot more farms here. So we have 8 vills on gold, 200 gold in the bank, and this is with archers in queue. 300 gold now, right? However, we're going to have a lot of trouble getting up because we're not making enough farms. So we didn't start farming until 1630. So here, I'll give you some perspective, okay? A properly executed men-at-arms build order with such a late archer transition, you'd be clicking up right now, right? But if you look at us, we have 93 food. So yes, we're getting some damage in over here. However, properly executed, consistent farming, we'd be going to Castle Age, and our opponent wouldn't have a chance. Okay, so we're microing our men at arm here. This is that's a good way to do it. Just take out the mill. They need the berries always, and he's gone into knights. Okay, keeping these archers in the middle of the field like this is also a big mistake. Alright, you noticed eventually and you're pulling them back, but we've lost a lot of archers here. And now I think we're using a market to buy our way out. Okay. Managed to wall them out in time. That's always a good thing. However, we stopped making archers and we're just going for hard camels. So we've already invested resources into getting archers. Right? Oh no, we never got fletching. Never mind. We didn't invest anything to archers. Okay, we invested the 2 ranges and then we invested the archers we made. So we're going camel defense. However, we've walled ourselves into a very small portion of the map. Right? So, we need to go fight these knights here. He has 1-1. Camels, with +1 defense, we will still win that. So we need to go fight it. Yep. Okay, this monastery is kind of unnecessary. The biggest thing is we need to start getting some more map control. We need to get TCs up out here. We need to start making more villagers, right? Because every second that goes by, we're falling behind more and more. So yes, we have an army that counters his, but we also have an army that isn't very good at raiding. Right? Camels take a lot of damage to arrow fire. And so now we're trapped in here. And look at all this free damage they got. So our army got cleaned up. We just put down our second TC, and we're almost 20 villagers behind, right? And unfortunately, we don't even have very good farming area because of how congested we made our base. So we TC'd our main gold. This is kind of a mistake. Definitely would have preferred to TC this secondary. This main gold was in the back, and it was kind of already safe, right? We have counter units on the field. We should be looking to see if he's still making army, if he's just purely booming, or what. We are behind a lot of villagers, and as you can see by the score, this is a pretty good indication that he's way ahead in eco. So there we go. 4 TCs coming up where the second one should have been. That's good. But we need to be making vills. So we're floating a lot of gold right now. Maybe using some of that market to help keep everything active and going. And we need to also be taking fights. We should have been consistently trading or getting into a counter unit. So we confirmed he stayed Knight Monk. We can always go pikes. Now, it's not great for us, but we have the counter unit here. We should have been fighting this, and that would have prevented this here on the hill. So we're being too passive. Okay, that's a decent castle. And yeah, we're running into more and more problems here because we're just sitting at home, and our opponent's he isn't, but he could have been going pure pikeman, and we never would have known. And look how much we cleaned this fight, right? We could have done this ages ago. So we're now going imp, only 87 vills, so we definitely need to keep making villagers. Oh, we didn't notice. Okay, so he's got another castle up here on the hill. So we need to use this imp and get trebs out. Perfect. We need to figure out a way to get those castles out of the way. Because our opponent's just taking excellent hill control here. Okay, this castle also needs to be making trebs. And where's Heavy Camel is on the way. We have armor. But do we have Farimba? We just got it. Alright. Fortunately, we've lost a great many units. And we still need to keep making villagers. So we've stopped making villagers. Right. You're catching the idols eventually. But we definitely need more. And we need to start prepping for his trash transition, right? He's not going to go knights into Heavy Camel forever. So we need to have a plan to counter those helps. Alright, so our opponent just happened to dive in on our eco here. And we've seen the help. So Gubetto is an option, although that's another gold option. But we're pushing too far up. We can't actually defend this. So I don't mind trying for the snipe on the monastery, but this wasn't worth it. Because all he does is he just got 3 trebs, and now he just re-puts that in there. So we're going into pike. The problem is this won't really work, right? So this is where I was saying earlier, camel skirm is a possibility. Just keep them together, make sure that the skirms are kind of trying to shoot at all of the pikemen, as well as going into Gubetto. So Our opponent took advantage of us not walling. We have some nice castles. Not great castles, but nice castles. This could have been over here on that hill, so on and so forth. We were too passive in Castle Age. We gave him this hill control. We could have been constantly trading for taking these fights, healing up with our monks, and then we could have just leveraged this into the later game, right? So it can definitely be a challenge. But for heavy camel, if we have something to fight these pikes, be it Gabetto or something else of that nature, we'll definitely be able to. This walling here, how small we walled, and then we kept our men-at-arms at home, that's an issue. And after we fought off that initial pressure, or realized that the initial pressure was just a drush, we needed to very quickly start trying to take our map, control of our map, right? So the knights came in there, and we just stayed in our base. We made this monastery that we didn't really get much use out of early in the game. Definitely a later monastery to help with relics is needed, absolutely, but so early, it is not. And then we're going to look here, and this is probably the biggest mistake that I noticed. It's not working. Man, pay money for this and that doesn't work. Okay. It was how late you farmed. So I saw 3 farms at 15 minutes. I saw 2 farms at 14 minutes. Right, so two farms. Okay, 15 minutes and 30 seconds, and we only have 3 farms up, right? This is the biggest issue. And this whole time, we've been floating multiple hundreds of wood. So right now, we're floating 400 wood. Okay. So we've had a minute and 10 seconds of idle time. This is almost 3 vills worth of idle. Again, the more you play, the more you figure out a way to macro properly, it will help. However, the biggest issue is look how many we have on gold here. We have 6 vills on gold. We don't even have a range yet. So we're already floating 200 gold, but we don't have enough farms to make villagers. Right? So now we're idling our TC, and we're just continuing to build up a larger stockpile of gold that we can't actually use yet because we don't have ranges. So these guys need to be farmers, is what I'm saying. Right? That range needs to go down instantly, get 4 on gold, and get those farms down. And then as you have the wood in, get that second range, so on and so forth, right? But our opponent has many more farms than us already. He's at 9. He could be at more. We're at 2. And I can tell you this right now is 100% the biggest issue with your gameplay. When doing men-at-arms, you need to farm more, my friend. A lot more. Okay, so if you're walking away from something, more farms. Right? Taking multiple villagers, like 15 minutes, 3 farms. Like, when do we actually lay down a bunch of farms? Okay. 16 minutes, no farms. 16 minutes and 30-ish seconds. 16 minutes, 20 seconds. We finally got over 3 farms. We laid down 3 more. Right. We're floating 400 gold. We're floating 400 wood. If we go back, it would have been like 600 wood because we just spent 180 on farms. Right. So. Yeah. So this is the walkaway point. And I can't stress it enough. Right here. Boom. 600 wood, 400 gold. Only 1 range is working, and we have 3 farms. So yes, our men-at-arms are doing damage. However, we are still actually losing this game. Because our opponent can make farms. But he needs a lot more farms as well. But because he's going to Castle Age, he's going to be able to leverage that quicker uptime, despite the 2 villas we've killed and his own personal uptime. It's he's going to be able to leverage that to get way ahead of us. So he's halfway up. He has wheelbarrow, we do not. Right? And as a result, he's multiple villas ahead of us, despite us killing 2 and him killing none. Oh, that's not equal kills. Never mind, we haven't killed any villas. I was looking at that wrong. But yeah, so he's multiple villas ahead of us. He has wheelbarrow, he has more farms, he's up faster. Much, much faster. Right? And yeah, and as we see, he eventually gets up to 20 villas ahead of us. So yeah, man. Just keep practicing. My suggestions for improvement is definitely just to watch someone else, higher level players maybe, do men-at-arm builds. And then just see when they're placing farms. And, I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to execute to the same level. However, what you can do is be more conscious of this. Right? Anyway, man, hope that helped. Have a good one. Peace.